Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy that is actually little this time. This is the Jake Hoback MKUltra. And so this is a really neat knife and I'm glad to have it. But first I want to thank my buddy Andrew for donating this knife to the channel. His only condition on the donation was that when I sell this guy later on, all the proceeds go to charity, which I am very happy with. That is win-win-win all around. So that's great. This will go up for sale on my Patreon shortly after I film this, with the proceeds going then to charity. So keep an eye out for that in the future. But let's talk a little bit about size comparison here, because that is the notable thing about this knife, is the size. Right here is an Ontario Rat number 2, and so you can see this guy is markedly smaller. Right here is your Spyderco Delica, as always, for tradition. Right here would be the Ontario Rat number 1 here. And let's see here, Benchmade 940. Why not? And anything else here that makes sense? Yeah, the Spyderco Dragonfly is another very small, very eminently legal sort of knife. So there you go. One thing I want to highlight is in my disassembly video, I waffled a little bit about the scale material because I hadn't done a lot of research before taking it apart. Sorry about that, guys. But these scales are aluminum, and the little lock bar piece that goes into there is separately attached for that reason. So, yeah, there's that. And then finally, in case you can't tell already, this is a Jake Hoback design. MKUltra originally, I think the MK is for Mini Kwaiback, and it was originally made for his wife, who wanted a smaller version of the Kwaiback to carry, which is honestly adorable. So that's great there. So let's go ahead and jump into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly of this particular knife right here. Okay, so first on the good side, it is made in the USA by a small business single maker. That's always a nice thing. Next thing, this guy, the blade is far enough from the edge of the scales. This was a problem on the full-size Hoback, but it's not here. So, or at least on the generation I handled. But anyways, that's nice. Whether it's because the thin blade, whatever, not a problem. So don't even worry about it. Next thing, on the clip here, I gotta say, he's got the little Jake Hoback Knives axe symbol on there, and it's not just printed on there, but it is actually engraved. I mean, you can see there is a cutout there. I'm sorry, it's punctured through there. And that's kind of a nice effect, honestly. It's pretty. And this is about as classy as clip billboarding gets. Do I love it? No, not necessarily, but you know what? Hey, it's pretty nice. It's well done at the very least. The other thing is you can flip this clip around, carry left side, so nice thing there. Next thing, a little blade on this guy is a Tonto blade. Tontos get a bad rap for being pretty tactical, at least in modern knife making, but you know what? It is a useful blade shape in a couple of ways. You've got a scraping edge, you've got this extra little sub tip here, which can be great for like cutting packages where you really don't want to stick anything inside the box. It's a decent enough. I like Tontos for everyday carry, and this little Tonto is fine. And speaking of the blade itself, it is AEBL steel, which is one of those steels that is absolutely good to go, takes a good edge, pretty stain resistant, can't really argue with it. The blade thickness is, unlike a lot of really small knives from higher end makers, the blade thickness is about in line. It's a little thick. I mean, it's slightly thicker than your Spyderco Delica, but you know what? It's fine. It cuts things. I had no real complaints carrying this guy around. Not God's gift to slicing, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. Next thing, the blade on this guy, the knife overall has just very nice fit and finish. I gotta say that much. This is really well done overall. There is nothing I can look at on this knife and go, oh, you screwed that up, or even just, oh, you could have tried a little harder there. This is well finished. It feels very much like a high-end mid-tech knife, even though it is a relatively small high-end mid-tech knife. So that's a beautiful thing. The next thing is the weight. The weight of this guy is very, very, very small because it's an aluminum knife here. I mean, in large quantity here. Drop it on the scale, 1.85 ounces. That's less than an ounce per inch, which is always nice. And I'm throwing knives here. Don't use your folders as throwing knives, guys. Just FYI. But anyways, it's super lightweight, and because of its size, it is also super easy to carry. I mean, yeah, it's got a little flipper tab here, but the thing is, it rides high in the pocket, and this is not much of a pocket packer here. I loved carrying this guy around. It just kind of disappeared in the pocket. Can't argue with that. And then finally, on the good side, the action on this knife is really great. I mean, Jake Hoback knows how to make a good action, 100%. And, you know, this feels great. I really do like it. The detent is good. It's not the hottest detent in the world, but you know what? It's fine. It always deploys when the knife is clean and happy. And you know what? The action is just smooth as heck. I mean, watch. I'll let it kind of Yeah, it's nice. Just great action. So to me, that's what's good here, is that the action is great. It's very easy to carry. It's very lightweight. Fit and finish on it is just great. It's got a reasonably thin blade, at least relative to a lot of your custom small knives. Tontos can be useful. The X on the clip is pretty classy, and the blade is far enough from the edge of the scales, and it's made in the US of A. Let's talk about what's great about this little guy. Okay, what's great about this knife is the fact that Jake Hoback made it at all. What I mean by that is this is a very small knife. I mean, the overall length of this knife in terms of blade is right at around 2.5 inches here. But the thing is, so often in the knife world, a small knife is also an inexpensive knife, and it's not one that makers put a lot of effort into. There are very few high-end, small-sized knives, and this is absolutely both. I love the fact that Jake Hoback took the time to not only make a tiny Kwaiback, but that he took the time to do it right. And he absolutely freaking did. This is just a great knife, and it is also a small knife. And I love that we have that option. Those of us who prefer smaller knives are, unfortunately, the people who have to deal with laws that mandate them. But whatever, this is a high-end small knife. I love that that exists, and thank you, Jake, very much. I'm already finding myself recommending this guy on that virtue alone. So, yeah, thank you very much, Jake. Let's talk about what's not so great here. The bad. Okay, so on the bad side, first off, something that is not bad but could disappoint somebody if they don't think it all the way through. This guy does not have the Hoback rolling detent. That's a system where there's a ball bearing mounted in the detent ball's place, and that's actually on a movable sort of, so you can really move the detent in or out to really dial in your detent. Spectacular system. One of the greatest things that Hoback has given to the knife community, but there is no way in heck that it could fit on this knife. With this tiny thin little liner here, this is just a plain detent ball. The action's great, no complaints, but it is something that I don't want people to think, oh, Hoback rolling detent, and then be disappointed. Next thing, this is very personal, but it does violate my overall principle of the separation of church and cutlery. Right here you can see it's PS 23 Hoback. This is a reference to Psalm 23 in the Christian Bible. It's a warm, welcoming, happy psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, and so forth. But the thing is, this is not an option. This is something he puts on every single knife. And having it that way, honestly, at best it feels a little bit pushy towards his non-Christian audience, because not everyone who buys a knife is Christian. And at worst, it feels a little bit like you're profaning the sacred. I mean, this is a tool that you're going to use to open the blister pack that a new toilet brush comes in. Do you really want to be doing that with a holy tool? I don't know. And on the knife called the MKUltra, it's even weirder to me. So I do wish that this were an option. You could, order them with the PS23, but, by and large, they'd come sterile. That would feel a little nicer to me. But, this is entirely personal, and it's a nitpick. So let's just be real there. Moving on. Speaking of litpicks here. Litpick? Wow, I don't even know what that is. Anyways, I guess the Bible's literature in a sense. Does that be a litpick? Anyways, moving along. Right here, you got a liner. And this liner lock is a little bit unusual relative to other liner locks. Most liner locks have the area that you push to disengage at the bottom of the little indent. But on this guy, it's kind of in this top upper quadrant here. So in order to disengage, if you just slide to the side, your thumb goes straight through, you need to catch this top part. It's not actually a problem, but it does take some getting used to. I think ergonomically, it actually may be a good choice, because you're not feeling it here, but still. Something to keep in mind, and it's something that's definitely going to mess with you for the first few days carrying this guy. It sure did with me. Next thing on this guy, on the nitpicky side, the price on this guy is high, but I actually do think it is a fair price. Price here is $400, but stay with me here. I know that is a crazy amount of money to spend on a knife, just overall. But the thing is, this is a high-end, small batch production, tiny knife by a high-end designer with good materials. There are just not that many options out there along these lines. And more importantly, he's not going to sell 1 billion 2.5-inch knives. It's just a fact. So, you know what? He did this knife right. He really made this a well-done knife overall, and I think he's not out of line for charging a high price for it, and because it's damn well done. So there you go. The price is high, but I do think it is relatively fair. Still going to be a barrier for a lot of people. Next thing, the texturing on the back side of this knife is one of the things that bothers me most. Frankly, it's the thing I like least about this knife. You can see here it's got this very sharp texturing back here, and I asked him, because I couldn't for the life of me figure out why he would do that, and I actually asked Jake on the Instagram, what's up with that? And his answer was that this is for the reverse grip. So if you want to hold the knife like this, and indeed, in a reverse grip, this is great. Your thumb's got really great texturing on here, but the thing is, Of all of the knives, if I were going to get into a knife fight, and first off, that's a terrible freaking idea. But if I were going to, I really don't feel like this is a knife that I would bring. Frankly, I would bring running shoes, but that's again beside the point here. This is not a reverse grippy knife, and the thing is, practically speaking, more of the time than anything, this is going to be ugly to you in your hand and in your pocket here. It is a sharper area here. You can see it. I mean, it's grabby. And then as you've got this in your pocket, as you slide your hand past it, you're going to be grabbing your hand every damn time. I would much prefer this knife either with a much reduced form of jimping back here or with a smooth surface at all. I think that's something you got to keep in mind there. I'm not a big fan of that whatsoever. Then finally on the bad side, these screws are going straight into this aluminum. And the thing is, I'm usually not a big fan of screws going straight into the material rather than using some kind of a Chicago screw or something along those lines of going into the backspace. I get it from a space constraint thing, but I'm really scared about long-term longevity of these screws going straight into the aluminum. Because if one of those holes strips out, you're going to have a really bad time. The knife is just not going to work. So I'm sure Jake could help you out, but that is the final thing that kind of bugs me here. So that's the bad. The screws go right into the aluminum. The texturing on the backside is excessive, I think, for most people, and it's going to cause more problems than it's worth. The price is high, but I think it's fair. The liner lock takes some getting used to. I'm not a big fan of the violation of separation of church and cutlery here. And finally, it does not have the Hoback rolling detent, but of course it doesn't have the Hoback rolling detent. Let's talk about what's ugly, and it's just one thing here. To me, what's ugly about this knife is the name, MKUltra. So MK is Mini Kwaiback, I get it, but the thing is, Project MKUltra is an actual thing. This is the code name of a series of now declassified CIA human subjects experiments in the 50s and the 60s designed to develop drugs and approaches for things like torture, information extraction, and interrogation. This is a real thing. You can go on. This is not like crazy conspiracy. They were papers. But the thing is, in addition to being really, really creepy, large parts of MKUltra were actually illegal. Things like informed consent was not respected when they were drugging people, and at least one person died during this process, and a lot of paperwork was destroyed, so it could well have been more. And as a research scientist, this is it's so damned ugly. Everything they're doing that goes against, And as an American, I gotta be honest, that is not my country's finest hour. No country is pristine, but that one's pretty damned ugly. So to name a knife after the MKUltra experiments, although it's kind of edgy and maybe worth a wry laugh, it feels to me in poor taste, and I'm really hoping this doesn't become a trend for him. I mean, we do not need, for instance, the Hoback Tuskegee syphilis study, and I am definitely not going to buy the Hoback Stanford prison experiment. So I get it, it's cute, it's edgy, but to me, I'm sorry, Jake, it's just kind of ugly. So that's the ugly to me, but it's not really on the knife, and you can forget it. You think it stands for something else. Call it the Hoback puppies or whatever the heck you want to care. Anyways, so that's the ugly, and let's go into the final conclusions here. So look, the MKUltra is a great knife, but it's not the perfect knife for everybody. I mean, nothing is, but this guy specifically with its size. I mean, there is a reason that the majority of knives are in the 3 to the 4 inch range here. I mean, this is enough blade for pretty much any task. This guy covers a majority of uses, but it's a little bit shy of always enough blade. And so if you're just looking for a generic function-first knife, this may not be your finest choice. You're paying a lot of money for a knife that doesn't cover any situation and on occasion feels a little bit limited. But the thing is, for many people, function doesn't get to come first. Maybe they've got stupid laws that limit them to like 2.5 inches. Places like Cleveland and Boston, Chicago in the U.S. have laws like that on the books. Maybe they're just working around scared people who think anything that's big is a crazy murder weapon. Or maybe just 99% of the cutting tasks are very small, and they want something that is also very small and easy to carry. For those people, or for people who just like small knives like me, the MKUltra is absolutely a gem. Because so often, like I said, small turns into underdone a budget, and so few companies and people are out there making great small knives. So when somebody does, it is a beautiful thing. And this is one of the best tiny knives out there. I mean, it is a small knife that is also a high-end knife in fit and finish material. materials. Great design, a nice design, good materials, great action. Even the ergonomics are pretty solid, for at least in my smaller hands, for what this is here. I mean, sure, I'd prefer it with optional scripture, without the rear texturing, and with a less ugly name, but the thing is, this is a tiny knife that is a great knife, and it's a tiny knife that any knife guy should be proud to carry and use. This is a wonderful little knife. So if you just need a knife, there are lots of gems for this price point, which are probably going to be more universally useful. But if you want a small and excellent knife, look, the MKUltra is absolutely going to blow your mind, or at least influence it. Hopefully in a good, non-creepy sort of way. Mind control joke? Anyways, I hope this has been interesting, that if you're looking for something small, you can find one of these, and that you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.